Welcome, ladies and gentlemen of the internet. Today I'll be doing another tutorial, and when I say another, this is the first of my command block tutorials, okay? But it's a cool one, I promise. And today, I'm going to be teaching you guys how to make a /hub command in your vanilla Minecraft Bedrock world. Yes, this is Bedrock. It potentially works in Java as well, but we're specifically focusing on Bedrock. Now, for sanity purposes, I turned the command output to false. This is the game mode that it is. I'll turn it back on for you guys for now, just so you guys can see the command blocks triggering, but I would highly recommend you make it so that the command block output is false. That way you don't see commands triggering inside of chat. It is not professional looking at all. So what we have over here is basically it's a 3 command block setup to set up a hub. It's fairly simple. This first /test command isn't necessarily necessary. I mean, all that's really necessary is this the execute command right here, and this is what I have it set up. Basically, you want to execute, add an entity, and then give the name of the entity -/hub. It's actually the color code. So if you have a keyboard that has a numpad, what you want to do is hold Alt 0167, and you get the color symbol, and you can make it whatever color you want. You don't have to color it. It can be completely white, and I'll demonstrate that with the other command blocks back here. As you can see, completely white. This one's just /hub. It doesn't have to be color coded. I just do that for aesthetic purposes. To go through it, basically what I have is this command block that's repeating always active, unconditional, and it's testing for an entity that has the name of hub. And if these blocks aren't active, basically all it's doing is saying, is there an entity with that name? If it works, it goes to these conditional blocks and starts proceeding with it. Now, like I said, you can skip this because this theoretically tests for it as well, but I just prefer playing it safe. With this, we're going to execute at the entity that has the name of hub, and we're going to do 3 of the tilde keys. And that just says, you know, at that location, do this command. So at the command, or at the location of the entity that has the name of hub, we're going to teleport the closest player within the range of 10, just in case, for some ungod name reason, they're like miles away. It should never happen, but I just do it for the just in case, you know, you never know. And then the coordinates 041 is actually the spawn point over here, so 041. That's all that is. That's all the numbers are. It's all it means. Now, something that's extremely important. Do not forget this. If you fuck up, just make sure you have the range equals 10. Otherwise, you're gonna make a nightmare for yourselves if you fuck this up. If you are stuck in a teleport loop, I'll just make this an impulse block just to demonstrate what can possibly happen. I'm going to make. I have a hub spawned right here, so it's going to spawn an entity with the name of hub with the yellow. That's why the egg's renamed like that. All I did is renamed it in the anvil. Fairly simple. And if I spawn the thing here, it's going to put me in an endless loop. You see how it says found hub continuously, and if I walk over here, it's going to continuously cycle me back. If you're in creative, you can do /kill at entity name equals then the name of the entity, which in my case is hub, and it'll kill anything with the name. Gone. Then now we're not stuck in an endless loop. And this is also why I have the command output off. So if you don't want to see all the chat stuff, you just go to this, make the game rule command block output false, and you don't have to see it anymore. It's freaking amazing. Don't ignore that. Please turn your game rule to false. Now, this is to kill any entity with that name at all. Now, entities do not refer to just spawn eggs. If you want to be specifically a monster, I think you can do comma type equals, I don't know what it would be for monsters. That's why I go by names. So we're gonna make sure this is a chain block and keep it on unconditional. That way it always executes regardless of whether or not this other block happens to work, because if it's another player, we want it to be dead. So now if I do this, dies instantly, and we get teleported. Basically no matter where we are. I'll explain that a little bit in a second here. If I'm way over here, hub, bam. Now the thing is, the zombie horses are pretty freaking loud. I'm gonna change this to an impulse. So I would recommend using something more like the silverfish, and that would bring you back with a lot less sound to it. This is not the only way. There are a couple of other ways of doing this. One of those would be entities also include items. So if you rename literally any item in the game, I will just rename a sword. And then you see, same exact name. If I drop the sword entity, it does the exact same thing, and it kills, aka destroys, the item you dropped. So if I use the papers instead, drop, it brings me back. Drop, brings me back. There are ways to make sure that players hold on to items infinitely, although I don't really know how to give named items yet. It's very difficult in Bedrock, but I will show you alternatives to make sure a player always has an item. Now I'm going to go over one of the last things you can do, and that is using Quill books. And this can be used for a lot of other reasons. So over here, I have different command blocks set up. You can literally name it the /hub still. But for purposes of a server, I'm going to show you what you would do. So over here you see it's test for /hub. There's no color code in this. It's just /hub. It'll go through the exact same commands, except all of the names are /hub instead of the yellow tagged hub. See the difference? Exact same commands. I'll go through it one more time so you can see it. Pause if you need to. Right there. Oops. And then the last one right here kills the entity. That way you don't get stuck in the loop. And these are also unconditional. So always make sure the kill entity is unconditional. And also make sure that you specify. Do not have it just at E. It will kill everything in the server, including players. You don't want that. Okay, now that you've been warned, we're gonna move on. So I have two commands actually set up for this. So this block is just the hub, and over here is a question mark for all of the commands. Theoretically, you would just extend this. So I'm gonna copy this by holding Control middle click. You can see all the data still there. And theoretically, you could just chain it with as many commands as you have. So it's just like, if you have a bunch, do that. Right now, I only have the two here. Or I guess the one here. I mean, technically, these are the two commands, but this one's more self-explanatory. So if we go into the book in Quill, you don't do anything with this. You could type whatever, nothing. This doesn't even matter. Anything in the pages don't fucking matter. 0%. Like, just ignore it. You want to go sign and close, and you enter the title. So for this case, I'm going to do /, enter, sign and close. Now the book is called /. So if I drop it, it gives me the command. So commands, first command is /hub, teleport to hub, and you just add all of these as whispers. Which you could do instead of whispers is the, I think it's /raw, tell raw. But you'd have to know the raw JSON messages, and I don't feel like looking that up right now. / message is just a much easier command to do. Both of them tell players privately though, as long as it's set up the way it is here. So for this, I have execute at the name of the entity. So this is the location of the entity, this first part. Then it's gonna message the closest player to that and say commands. And then for the next line, here it is, execute, same exact beginning, message, and it just tells me the first command. I separated by colors because if you don't do that, it kind of blends with this first part. So if you look inside of here, you see how this is all blue. This would also be blue if you don't color code it. Highly recommend it to be contrasted to whatever chat is. So normally it'd be white, this would be white. So yeah, if you, again, color coding the command list, I would highly recommend. And at the end of it, it kills the entity so it doesn't spam you with 1,000 messages, because if you don't kill it, what is going to happen is something like this. So /, enter, sign and close, boop. So it just spams it like 1,000 times over. I picked it back up though, so it's gonna stop now, but that's why you have it to kill, just like any other thing inside of here. And again, not conditional. Make sure it is unconditional. These, all of the ones in between, conditional. Last one, to kill it, make sure it's unconditional and specify the name. It has to have quotations. If you get rid of quotations, it fails. See how it doesn't die? If you have quotations, nope. Dies. It just gets rid of it instantly, and it works once. It's a pretty good system. There's a couple of flaws. Like I said, I'll get into that in a second. I just want to show you quick that the /hub also works. So sign /hub, sign and close. It says /hub as the item name. Drop it. Bam. There you go. Simple, easy. It's a very easy system to set up. Now the only problem that we have, so I'm gonna grab myself a silverfish, the hub, and we're just gonna fly off into the distance here. We're just gonna fly way out here. Now, ideally, you'd want this to work anywhere inside the server. However, there are ticking distances, so at that distance, this should not work. As you can see, I have a silverfish right here, and he is just doing nothing. I do not know why he's not moving. That is very strange. Maybe silverfish aren't supposed to move on normal ground anymore. That's new to me. But I'm just gonna kill him. As you can see, it doesn't work, no matter how many we do. Now, the way to fix that... Here, I'll even mark this for you. So the way to fix that is going to be adding a ticking area. Now you can have 10 of these per dimension, which means you can have 10 ticking areas in the overworld, 10 ticking areas in the nether, and 10 ticking areas in the end, which means you can have up to 30 ticking areas total inside of your world. Now how you're going to do that is fairly simple. It loads it by chunks, but it goes by coordinates. It's kind of confusing, but don't worry about it. It's fairly simple. So we're going to do / ticking area, and we're going to add to keep it simple. And I'm going to do it tab, and you can see how it says 9 there, right? I'm just going to tab all of the numbers, not the tilde keys, just the numbers, and I'm going to hit enter. It's going to error out. This is on purpose. I'm going to move to the other corner of all these blocks that needs to be left in the rendering, or the ticking area. So I'm going to push up arrow, and it brings up my coordinates from last time. I can spacebar, and I can tilde key the rest of it. And I'm going to name it hub commands. No spaces. I don't know if it matters, but I'm not going to do any spaces, so just call it hub commands. So when I want to remove it, I have an idea of what to remove. So I hit enter. It says add a ticking area from coordinate to coordinate, and it says 1 out of 10 ticking areas used. So now if I go way back over to this command block where it didn't work last time, you will see that it functions completely and perfectly. Just like that. Pretty simple setup. And now, no matter where I am, it should work. I will note that I don't think this will work if you're inside of the nether, because you're teleporting to a certain coordinate, so I'd be wary of that. I don't know how this works across dimensions. I just know it'll work inside of the dimension it's supposed to be. Now, I guess a big question probably, well, you know, this is great and all, but the most practical use of this right now is the Quill book, because anybody can make that. If it's a survival realms, maybe you're playing in SMP and you want like somewhere for shop, so like you do like /shop and you have coordinates set up for that, right? Now, what if you want to do something a little bit different than just Quill books, and since I have no idea how to give named items, it's kind of a problem. But there's an easy fix to this. Over here, I have myself a replace item. Now in this case, I'll let you look at it for a second. In this case, I'm replacing the first item inside the hotbar, so this will get replaced. I would recommend doing it through the inventory slot, so this is set up to slot.hotbar 0. 0 is actually 1. And if you, I'll bring it back up the inventory. So this is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It does not start at 1, it starts at 0. Same thing with this inventory slot. This is 0, 1, 2, 3, and so on. It goes left to right like that. So I would actually recommend doing, I think it's slot integrated. Let me check real quick. So right here are all of your options. You could put it in the ender chest. However, I mean, that's probably the best use case scenario, because if it's in the ender chest at all times, they can just go to the ender chest for all commands. So you could do it that way, and that would never affect their inventory. That's a smart way of putting it. However, maybe you want to do it through the inventory. So slot.inventory, but the hotbar inventory is all we're gonna focus on for now. So like I said, instead of this command, I would change this to inventory 0. And then for my use case scenario, I'm doing a silverfish spawn egg. You can make it anything. Maybe you make it paper or a zombie spawn egg. It doesn't matter. Either way. However, just remember that whatever you make this is going to be killed in the world regardless. So think about it. Maybe you want it to gold nugget. People aren't going to throw gold nuggets on the ground very frequently. That'd probably be a good contender for this. And I'm going to just grab myself a silverfish. And you can see it gave me one when I press the button. If you don't want to do the button method, you could just go to always active and turn it to repeating. And now it'll always give me in the first inventory spot no matter what. So if I put it in here, it just deletes it. You see that? So you can like spam click, you have a bunch of hubs, put it back, it's gone. It'll always be here. If you try to put another item there like the snowball, you're gonna lose the snowball. Something to keep in mind, since it's always there, it shouldn't matter as long as the player doesn't manually put something over it. But this is the best system of doing it. The other way is, say you don't care about it being in the inventory, you could put it into the hotbar. So hotbar. And now my first spot here is always going to be silverfish. Pretty simple, actually. And if I put it down, oh, that's embarrassing. Ah, alright, sorry, my bad. You wouldn't do name as silverfish. Now, if you're gonna do snowball, you would still. So let me show you something real quick. So I have a snowball here. If I drop it, it'll work with the snowball. So the item name. So if it's like a netherite sword, or if it's like a saddle, a compass, those you would identify by putting name. However, if it is a mob, you will have to do type equals. In this case, it's silverfish. I think if it was zombie horse, you would do zombie underscore horse. I believe. Don't quote me on that because fucking everything has weird commands. Now if I do it, it works. Spawn silverfish. I'm gonna always spawn back here. I'm just gonna fly back over here. We still have the ticking area active. Works perfectly. Look at that. Like I said, make sure it's type if it's a mob, it's name if it's an item. That's my bad. I didn't realize. Also another thing to keep in mind is if the spawn egg itself is called hub, you could spawn it, of course, or you could drop it and it's going to do the exact same thing. So keep that in mind. And then also just one more thing, if you don't want to keep that ticking area, all you have to do is slash ticking area. I guess if you don't remember, you can just type list. I think it'll tell you. Yeah. So you do slash ticking area list. It'll tell you list of all. I named it hub command. So I can do slash ticking area remove. And I can do hub commands. If it's the only one, or you just don't want any ticking areas, you can just do remove all. And that'll get rid of any ticking areas that are being used. And now if I go back over here with the silverfish egg, you don't have to do the range of 10. That's what the R equals means. That's just the range from the command block itself. So now if I go way out here, spawn it, I don't get teleported anymore because the ticking area is off. But if I get close enough, spawned in and the silverfish got killed. So that's just something to keep in mind. Ticking areas are very useful, especially for command blocks or any redstone contraption that just needs to be loaded in. Keep in mind, if there's a lot of stuff going on inside that ticking area, it can lag your world. Just remember that it's always going to be loaded. And that's basically it. I hope it wasn't super confusing. Hopefully it was kind of fun to learn. It's nice to just share a lot of this stuff I've been learning as I've been building my server. There's a lot of handy stuff, and it's just good to know command blocks. Like if you want to build maps or anything, or you run a realms, like it's good to know commands because it spices up the gameplay a little bit, even if it's just something small. So that'll be all for today. Hopefully guys, you enjoyed it. Hit that like button if you liked it. Subscribe. We are almost to 700. Come on. I see you. You're avoiding it. It's just one click. You can undo it. You could just stop being subscribed after like a week, and you're like, yeah, this guy's boring. Just unsubscribe. It's cool. I understand. Anyway, have a good one, you guys. Bye.